Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English Podcast with Emma. And today we are going to do something super useful and super real. We're going to practice how to talk about your year in English. Like when someone asks you, "How was your year?" And your brain goes blank, like a computer loading forever. And you just say, "Good." And then you escape to get water, even if you already have water. Yes, I know that feeling. So don't worry. Today I will help you speak with simple, clear sentences and we'll practice together, step by step, and quickly. Before we start, please like and subscribe if you enjoy learning with me, and leave a comment at the end because I want to hear your answer to the question of the day. Okay, so the topic is how to talk about your year. And this matters because in daily life, people talk about time all the time. At school, at work, with friends, on social media, on New Year's, on birthdays, or even just on a random Tuesday when someone is feeling curious. And when you can talk about your year, you can share your life in a simple way, you can connect with people, and you can feel more confident. And confidence is like coffee for your English. It wakes you up a little. So let's start with a very important word. Year, a year, is 12 months, like January to December, for example. This year, I learned English. And yes, you are learning right now, so that is true. And the next helpful word is month. A month is a part of the year, like January, February, March, and so on. For example, in March, I traveled. And if you didn't travel, it's okay. You can say, in March, I stayed home. And that is also real life. And the next word is week. A week is 7 days. For example, this week, I studied. And now let's add a super useful phrase, this year. It means in the time from January to now, or the past 12 months in general. For example, this year I started a new hobby. And hobby is our next word. A hobby is something you do for fun, like cooking, drawing, walking, gaming, or collecting cute stickers you never use. Yes, that is me sometimes. For example, my hobby is cooking. And now a very common phrase for talking about your year is look back. This is a phrasal verb. Look back means to think about the past, to remember. For example, I look back on my year. And another helpful phrase is look forward. Also a phrasal verb. Look forward means to think about the future with a good feeling. For example, I look forward to next year. And if you want to sound natural, you can say, I'm looking forward to next year. And now let's learn the word goal. A goal is something you want to do or achieve, like learn English, save money, or drink more water. For example, my goal this year was to practice English. And connected to goal, we have plan. A plan is your idea of what you will do and how you will do it. For example, my plan is to study for 10 minutes every day. And 10 minutes is small, but small steps are powerful. And speaking of small, another useful phrase is little by little. It means slowly in small steps. For example, little by little, my English is getting better. And yes, it is, even if you feel shy. And now let's learn habit. A habit is something you do often, again and again, like brushing your teeth, checking your phone, or listening to Easy English Podcast with Emma. Wow, what a nice habit, for example. My habit is studying English in the morning, and routine is similar. A routine is the usual things you do every day. For example, my morning routine is coffee and English practice. And now let's learn a very emotional but useful word, memory. A memory is something you remember from the past, a moment in your mind, for example. One good memory from this year is my birthday. And now let's learn highlight. A highlight is the best or most exciting part. For example, the highlight of my year was my trip. And if you didn't travel, you can say, the highlight of my year was meeting a new friend. Or, the highlight was finishing a big project. And if your year was quiet, you can even say, the highlight of my year was sleeping more. Honestly, that sounds amazing. And next we have a word that helps you speak about feelings. Proud. Proud means you feel happy about something you did. For example, I'm proud of myself because I studied every week. And if you want to be extra kind to yourself, you can say, I'm proud of small progress, because small progress is still progress. And now we need a word for change. Improve. Improve means to get better. For example, I want to improve my speaking. And here is a very useful phrasal verb, keep up. Keep up means continue and not stop. For example, I want to keep up my English practice. And if you stopped sometimes, it's okay. You can say, I stopped for a week, but I started again. because starting again is also a skill. And now one more phrasal verb that is fun and common. Pick up. Pick up means start learning something new. For example, this year I picked up a new hobby. And you can also say, I picked up some new English words. Great. And now we will put these words into simple speaking patterns, because vocabulary is nice, but speaking is the goal. So here are some easy sentence frames you can use to talk about your year. This year, in month, my goal was, the highlight was, one good memory is, I feel proud because, next year I want to. And we will practice them together right now with a speaking moment, so get ready, and please don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are normal, mistakes are good. Mistakes mean you're trying. Okay, repeat after me. This year I learned many things. Good, again. This year I learned many things. Nice, now repeat after me. In June I tried something new. Great, again. In June I tried something new. Now repeat after me. The highlight of my year was. And you finish the sentence with your idea, like my family, my hobby, my new job, my English. Okay, one more time. The highlight of my year was. And finish it. And if you feel shy, whisper it. Whispering is still speaking. And now let me tell you a small story about my year, because stories help your brain remember words, and also because I am a human who sometimes makes silly choices. So this year, I had a goal. My goal was to be organized. Yes, I said it with a serious face, like I was going to become a very tidy person who labels everything. And I even bought a notebook for planning, and I wrote on the first page, my plan. And then I never opened it again for 2 months. So my notebook became decoration, which is a fancy way to say it just sat there looking cute. But later I looked back and I thought, okay, Emma, let's improve, little by little. So I made a smaller plan. I decided to do one small habit every day, just one, and my habit was clean for 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is not scary. And guess what? It worked sometimes, not every day, but sometimes, and I felt proud because I kept up the habit more than before. And that is a real life example of improve. Not perfect, but better. And that is exactly how English works too. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep up. And now let's practice how to talk about good and not so good parts of your year in a simple way. Because real life has both, right? And we can do it politely and easily. Here are two simple words, good and hard. Hard means difficult, not easy. For example, this year was hard for me. And you can add a reason. This year was hard because I was very busy. And busy means you have many things to do. For example, I was busy at work. And if you want a softer, simple sentence, you can say, this year had good days and hard days. That's a very natural sentence. And now let's learn a helpful expression. To be honest. It means you will say the truth. For example, to be honest, this year was busy. And it sounds friendly and real. And another helpful expression is in the end. It means at the final time, finally. For example, in the end, I felt proud. And now we are going to do our first mini role play, and I will be both people, so you can hear a natural short conversation, and you can copy it in real life. Okay, imagine you meet a friend, and your friend asks about your year. Here we go. You say, hi, how was your year? I say, hi. My year was good. Thank you. I was busy, but I'm proud of myself. You say, oh, nice. What was the highlight of your year? I say, the highlight was learning English and meeting new people. You say, that's great. What do you want next year? I say, next year, I want to keep up my practice and improve my speaking. Okay, that is a short, clean conversation, and notice the simple past and simple present, very easy. And now I want you to try saying one line, just one. And it's okay if your pronunciation is not perfect. Repeat after me. My year was good, but I was busy. Again, my year was good, but I was busy. Great. And now repeat after me. I'm proud of myself. Again, I'm proud of myself. Yes, you are. And now let's add some copy and paste phrases, like sentences you can take and use anywhere, because sometimes you don't want to think, you just want words ready, like instant noodles but for English. Okay? Here are some very useful phrases, and I'll explain each quickly with an example. This year was. You can finish it with good, busy, hard, or interesting. For example, this year was interesting. And interesting means you learned new things or had new experiences, not boring. This year, I, plus a verb. For example, this year I started a new job, and started means began. One good thing was, for example, one good thing was my new routine. One challenge was, And challenge means a difficult thing you try to do. For example, one challenge was speaking English, and that is totally normal. I learned, for example, I learned new words. I tried, for example, I tried a new hobby. And tried means you did it to see if you like it. I want to improve. For example, I want to improve my listening, and I'm looking forward to. For example, I'm looking forward to next year. And you can also say, I'm looking forward to my vacation. If you have one, lucky you. And now, because we're practicing talking about your year, let's talk about time words. Because time words make your speaking clearer. So here are easy time words: in January, in February, in March, and so on. And also at the beginning of the year, which means near January. For example, at the beginning of the year, I had a goal. And in the middle of the year, which means around June or July, for example, in the middle of the year, I picked up a new hobby. And at the end of the year, which means near December, for example, at the end of the year, I looked back and felt proud. And you don't need to say all months. You can choose 2 or 3 moments, like a small story. And now I'll show you a simple way to organize your speaking, like a gentle structure, not a scary structure, because we are not building a robot, we are just talking. So you can do it like this. First, one sentence about the year in general, then one sentence about a highlight, then one sentence about a goal or next year. And that's it. 3 sentences, done. And if you want, add one feeling word like happy, tired, excited, proud, grateful. And yes, grateful is a nice word. Grateful means you feel thankful for something. For example, I feel grateful for my family. And you can also say, I'm grateful for small things, like good food or good sleep or a quiet morning. And now let's practice this 3 sentence structure together with another speaking moment. Repeat after me and fill in your own words when I pause. Okay. This year was, you choose good, busy, hard, interesting. And say it. Great. Now, the highlight of my year was, your idea. Good. Now, next year, I want to, your plan. Amazing. And if you only said one word, that's still okay, because you are building your English like building a small house, one brick at a time. And now let's do our second mini role play. This one is a little different. Imagine you are talking to a coworker or classmate, someone you don't know very well, so you want to be polite and simple. Okay? You say, hey, how was your year? I say it was pretty good. Thank you, I learned a lot. You say, nice, anything fun? I say, yes, I picked up a new hobby. I started cooking more. You say, wow, what do you want next year? I say, next year, I want to keep up my routine and improve my English. And if you want to be extra polite, you can add, how about you? Because conversation is like tennis. You hit the ball, then you send it back. So, how about you is a perfect little sentence. And now I want to teach you a small but powerful expression. A lot. It means many. For example, I learned a lot this year, and also pretty, as in pretty good. It means quite, like more than okay. For example, my year was pretty good. And now let's talk about a common problem. Sometimes your year feels boring, and you think, I have nothing to say. But listen, boring is also a story, and simple life is also real life, so you can talk about routines, small habits, and small improvements. For example, this year my routine was work and home. Or this year, I focused on my family. Focused on means you gave attention to something. For example, I focused on my health. But remember, I'm not giving medical advice, just general life stuff, okay? And if your year was tough, you can keep it simple and safe. You can say, this year was hard, but I'm okay now. Or this year was hard, but I learned a lot. And that sentence is very strong. So it's because it shows hope. And hope is a great friend. And now let's learn one more very common phrasal verb, slow down. Slow down means go more slowly, not too fast. For example, this year, I tried to slow down and rest. And rest is important, and also very important for language learning, because your brain needs a break too. And speaking of breaks, sometimes we give up. And give up is another phrasal verb. It means stop trying. And I want you to remember, you don't have to give up. You can take a break. But you can come back. So you can say, I didn't study for 2 weeks, but I didn't give up. Great sentence. And now I'll share another quick personal example because I want you to feel like you're not alone. There was a time this year when I wanted to pick up yoga, and I bought a yoga mat, and I used it exactly 2 times. And after that, my yoga mat became a floor decoration again. Yes, My home loves decorations. But then I changed my plan. I said, okay, Emma, one small habit. So instead of yoga for 1 hour, I did stretching for 2 minutes, and that felt easy. And I kept up that habit more than yoga. And I felt proud. And this is the message for you. Make your English goals small and kind. And now, let's do another repeat after me practice, because your mouth needs practice, not just your eyes. Okay, repeat after me. This year, I improved little by little. Again, this year, I improved little by little. Good. Now repeat after me. I'm looking forward to next year. Again, I'm looking forward to next year. Great. And now repeat after me. One good memory is, and you finish it. Okay, again, one good memory is. Perfect. And now I want to give you some practical tips to talk about your year without stress. Because stress makes our brain forget words, like your brain is hiding the words behind a curtain. So here are gentle tips inside our conversation. Tip 1 is keep it short. You don't need a long speech. 3 sentences is enough. Tip 2 is use simple time words like this year, in May, at the beginning, at the end. Tip 3 is use feeling words like happy, tired, proud, grateful. And if you don't know many feelings in English, start with just 2, good and hard, and that's already great. Tip 4 is prepare one highlight and one goal, just one, and you can repeat it in different conversations like your English story. And that's okay, because native speakers also repeat stories, trust me. We do it all the time, especially if we think we are funny, and I definitely think I am funny sometimes, even when I'm not. And tip 5 is ask the other person a question, like, how about you? Or what about your year? Because it takes pressure off you and makes the conversation friendly. And now let's review our key vocabulary naturally, because repetition helps you remember. We have year, month, week, goal, plan, habit, routine, memory, highlight, proud, improve, grateful, and our phrasal verbs and expressions. Look back, look forward, keep up, pick up, slow down, give up, to be honest, little by little, in the end, and you don't need to use all of them. Even 5 of them is amazing for A1 speaking. And now I want to show you how to make your own year story. With very simple sentences, here is an example you can copy. This year was busy. I worked a lot. The highlight was my family time. I'm proud because I kept up my English practice. Next year, I want to improve my speaking. I'm looking forward to it. See? That is simple, clear, and strong. And if you want to make it even easier, remove some sentences. This year was busy. I'm proud of myself. Next year, I want to improve my English. Done? And now, let's do a little practice where you answer me in your head or out loud. I'll ask, you answer. Okay, how was your year? You can say, my year was good, busy, hard, interesting. What was the highlight? You can say the highlight was your idea. What is one goal for next year? You can say, next year, I want to, your idea. And if you don't know your goal, you can say, next year, I want to try something new. And that is a wonderful goal. And now here are a few more copy and paste phrases for different situations, like when you want to be positive, when you want to be honest, or when you want to be polite. Overall, it was a good year. And overall means in general. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. Very real, very human. I had some challenges, but I learned a lot. Great balanced sentence. I'm grateful for the people in my life, warm and friendly. I'm proud of my progress, simple and powerful. Next year, I want to keep up my routine. Good for habits. I'm looking forward to new opportunities. An opportunity means a good chance to do something. Like a chance, for example. A new job is an opportunity. And if that word feels big, you can just say new things. That's fine too. And now let's do a quick recap in a natural way, like we're chatting. Today, we practiced how to talk about your year with easy sentence frames. We learned time words like year, month, week. We learned how to share a highlight and a memory. We learned how to talk about goals, plans, habits, and routines. And we learned very common phrasal verbs like look back and look forward. Plus, keep up, pick up, slow down, and give up. And I hope you feel more relaxed now, because speaking about your year can be simple. You don't need big words, you just need honest small sentences. And now it's time for your challenge of the week. I want you to record yourself for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds, and talk about your year using 3 sentences. You can follow this pattern. 1 sentence about your year, 1 sentence about your highlight, 1 sentence about next year. And if recording feels scary, You can just speak to your pillow, your mirror, your pet, or your plant. Plants are very supportive listeners. They never correct you. And now the question of the day for the comments is this: what was the highlight of your year? And what is one goal for next year? Write your answer in simple English, even if it's just one sentence. And remember, don't worry about mistakes. I'm proud of you for trying. Thank you for spending time with me on Easy English Podcast with Emma. Keep up your practice. Little by little, you will improve. And I'm looking forward to hearing your answers. Okay, my friend, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.